Hi, everybody. Welcome to the More Gems Show. I'm Steve Moriarty, your host, and with me tonight are my two sons. I have Michael here that's in charge of this production. Hey. Hello, Mike.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoy the show tonight.
And also Jeffrey, my oldest.
How we doing, everybody, tonight? Welcome back for everybody that's watched before and all the newcomers I'm seeing in the chat room.
All right. You want to explain a little about what's going on tonight?
Yeah. So, again, if this is your first time, awesome. We are going to be doing a show tonight featuring a lot of new, rare gemstones. Many that Steve has cut. He's a master gem cutter, and we'll let him kind of get into it.
Yeah, I wish I had cut more, but we were on vacation for 10 days, so that kind of cut into my cutting time a little bit. I did a little at home, but...
Yep. Well, Steve, why don't you, because there are a lot of newcomers tonight, kind of give them your background and everything.
Oh, you're going to throw that at me, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been at this since 1975. I started with my brother, and we wholesaled gems across the U.S., we split in the middle 80s. I started my own company, and about that time, I started cutting my own gems. Up to then, I was buying overseas. I started traveling to Germany to buy stones, and then I found out they were buying them in Thailand, so I went to Thailand, and then went to Brazil, and then ultimately started going to Tanzania, and then Madagascar. So been around a little bit, and we're just going to try and get back to a little more travel. The three of us are going to try to either make it to Bangkok or Tanzania. I haven't totally decided. It's been Bangkok for the last couple of weeks, but I had the urge this morning to go back to Tanzania, but we'll see. Once we find a flight that's acceptable pricing, or won't be acceptable pricing, what I can live with, we'll be on our way, hopefully end of August. So I do cut a lot of my own gems, and I do buy some cut too, because rough is not available in all materials, so you do have to source outside sometimes, but ideally I cut my own gems because I think I cut better than most of what's available for me to buy out there.
And a lot of you, I've mentioned, or some people mentioned in here, I think Bridget called out that she saw some of your videos with on mining and everything. Probably some of the trips we've done out west to like Montana and everything. So no matter how you got here, welcome. There's a lot of people that have watched our show before. This is our 41st show.
That's hard to believe.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy. So everybody that stayed with us since the beginning, thank you so much.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Yes. So for everybody that's new tonight, this is kind of how it works. We're going to be showing a lot of stones tonight. You're going to be able to view all those stones that we talk about at MoreGems.com. The spelling is in the little green banner below the video. You can go to MoreGems.com. There's another big green banner right there. You click on it. It's going to take you to all the stones that we're talking about on the show. Those stones are an additional 15% off tonight. And all you got to do is at checkout, add the coupon code SPARK, SPARK. That'll take an additional 15% off the price that you see. So that's how you get that discount. And then we offer free shipping. There's a lot of different options you can pay with. You can pay regular credit card. You can pay with PayPal. We do offer financing through Bread online. And then if you want to do layaway, we do offer that, but you have to call us tomorrow. We do not hold stones. We've ran into some issues in the past, so we no longer hold stones. So if it is still available tomorrow, you can call us and we can put it on layaway for you. But I would suggest if you do like the stone tonight, get it as quickly as possible, because it's happened many times where two people go in there and one person beats them out. So in addition to those stones that we're showing, there's going to be 5 hidden gems. These gems we don't put live until we talk about them. Now, those gems are going to be 25% off. And with that, you use coupon code. What's the coupon code?
Rare 25.
Rare 25. We'll mention these hidden stones throughout the show, so you don't have to try to remember that. We'll talk about it. Outside of that,
And how about they have to refresh to see it?
We'll mention it, when you get to the collection and everything. But if you do have questions, there is a lively chat going on YouTube. I believe you just have to log into YouTube, which is usually your Google account. There's a lot of people talking there right now, so you can do that. You can ask questions there. You can email us. You can also, on MoreGems.com, there's a chat box where you can chat with me specifically live. So if you have any questions for us, I'll try to get them answered by Steve.
Hi from Scotland. It's 1 a.m. there.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, everybody that's here. Yes, that's awesome. So, all right. Well, I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. I think I got everything. Again, if you got questions, answer them. We'll try to answer them as best as possible. And let's get started.
Okay.
Nice job, Jeff.
As far as the pricing you'll see online, you'll see several prices. I don't know what the regular price, is that what it's called? I don't know. It's so the normal price, that price is based on this gem guide. This is a market-driven independent pricing guide where they go around to the shows, Tucson, strongly, and they go all over the world, pricing stones from the dealers that are at the shows, and they develop this pricing guide, which breaks down a lot of different stones, and they break them down by size and quality, and they do diamonds, but to us, all that's important is colored stones. Here they're doing emeralds and just a wide variety of pricing. And this is the guide we use, and we use their recommendations on how to mark up stones. And this is the normal price we end up with, is based on this gem guide. So then the sale price is what our regular price is online. And then tonight you're going to take 15 to 25% off that sale price. So, what else do we miss?
I don't think anything.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Okay, our first gem up tonight is a Peridot. This comes from Pakistan. This is a square, brilliant cut, a brilliant pavilion, and a kind of a modified step cut on the crown. Let's see. Take me a while to get used to the camera here. So really beautiful cut. I didn't cut it, but it's extremely well cut and just a great color for Peridot. This cut is one of the most popular cutting shapes these days. All sorts of squares, and I do quite a few of them, maybe not enough of them. And you can see the brilliant style pavilion on it. Small table, which has become a lot more common these days with cutters. We find that the crown has such an effect on the brilliance of a stone. It used to be that the crown was secondary, but now crowns are just very, very important. How we handle the crown, and smaller tables is just becoming the norm. 50% and less is not uncommon. Try and hit below 60% typically to get the most brilliance. As you can see with these larger facets on the crown, you just get real action with the brilliance of the stone. So the stone, $36.15 is the appraised price. $19.60 is our price online. And with the 15% off, it's $1,666 or $230 a carat. Just a really beautiful Peridot. Pakistan these days is the best source for Peridot. Burma is another really good source, but those two are the best sources in the world. Pakistan really changed the whole market for Peridot.
Also, Peridot is August birthstone.
Oh yeah, coming
so if
up.
you know anybody, good point. August birthday. Great gem for that.
You know, and it was so common in the past when our primary source was Arizona. The reservation out there produces a lot of peridot. But, you know, people used to say to me, I hate my birthstone. I just don't like the color. And then you show them a stone from Pakistan and go, oh, that's not bad. You know, just because the color's so different, it has some blue to it rather than a strong yellow from the Arizona material, and just is a much, much finer gem. And for me personally, I really enjoy cutting peridot. Just the beauty you get when it's finished is just pretty remarkable for this stone.
Just cut in and just mention the weather.
The weather. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I just want to mention we are having a big storm, it seems, come through. So if anything does get cut off, we didn't ditch everybody. It's just the power may go out.
Yeah,
So,
and we'll do our best. We have battery backups. We're not sure how that works, but we'll do our best to get back up and running as quick as possible. All right, up next there, Mike. Okay, here's one of those peach. I like peach, if you've watched. This is a tourmaline. And these are just beautiful colors coming out of Congo. Just it's orangey pink, which is kind of what Madagascar Sapphire is. Madagascar is classed as pink orange to orange pink. So if this were a sapphire, it would get into the Madagascar category, and for sapphire would be remarkably expensive. Was that lightning? Okay.
We're seeing some power.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, flickering lights and
Hopefully we get through this show tonight. So, but this is coming out of Congo. Congo is a new source for tourmalines, new as in the last 6-7 years. But they're producing a lot of interesting colors. Most of it's much lighter color, and therefore most of it's not heated, because typically we heat tourmalines to lighten their color. They're often too dark coming out of the ground. So this material, as is this stone, is natural color. And a lot of flashing going on here. So this gem is $2,280 is the appraised price. $990 is our price online, and with 15% off, this stone is $842. Or shit, really? God.
the battery. Oh, you know what? It could still be running.
yeah, you're still up and live.
I'm live? Oh, okay. Hey, well, if I look dumbfounded here, our power went out and my screen went out. I assumed I wasn't here. Okay. So there we are. Huh. Yeah, hopefully I didn't have a stupid look on my face, but wouldn't be unusual. So anyway.
That's my fault, Steve. I don't have the monitors on the battery backup, only the computer.
Oh, okay. The computers are on battery backup, but not the monitors. So I'll try and keep going next time. $990 is the sale price on this stone, and it was $846 or $116 a carat, which for tourmaline, particularly this particular color, is a very inexpensive stone. You know, just a beautiful gem, make a beautiful ring. Oh, I forgot my helpful hand here.
Oh, yeah.
Hannah, right?
Hannah the hand. So not going to show color very well, but it's going to give you an idea of what it would look like in a ring. You know, so this is a nice size for a ring. Excuse my bit of dyslexia, as the camera is backwards and I don't function well with that. All right. So that's our tourmaline from Congo. Next gem up.
You didn't cut that one, did you?
No, I didn't cut that one. The next one up, I cut. So this is Aquamarine, And I actually bought this from a customer that came in, and she had a bunch of jewelry. And I told her, there's nothing here I want. And I looked at this poorly cut aquamarine. I thought, maybe I could recut that stone. So I bought it from her, and it actually cut really, really nice. It's not a dark color, but it's kind of what we expect from aquamarine, lighter material. And I cut it originally into a stepped emerald cut. Just didn't do it for me. So I decided to do a Barian style emerald cut, which, as some of you know, they used to call me Mr. Barian.
Yep, Mr. Barian.
Because I cut a lot of Barians, but that name's changing, which we'll talk about later.
Before we get too much into the aquamarine, quick question. Bridget wanted to know that tourmaline that you just shown, as far as how good is it for a ring as far as like scratching and everything?
It's as good as almost anything we're going to show you tonight, except this aquamarine, which is harder. But it's hardness that is very good for a ring. When it comes to colored gems, most of them aren't much harder than that. Of course, sapphire and aqua are harder, but most of the stones like garnets and tourmalines and amethyst, and they're all in that same general hardness range. Tourmalines are 7 1/4, which puts them a little above most of nature. So all the things that you run in outside, there's a lot of quartz, and it's 7 hardness. So tourmaline's just a little bit harder than that, which is a good thing because, most of that quartz is not going to scratch it. So good wearable ring stone for sure. And, and I say that, and you still have to be careful with colored stones because they're not hard like a diamond or a sapphire. So, take a little more care, try not to think it's the everyday stone for anything you do. You just have to be a little more careful with them, and they'll last you a long time. Oh, let me clean this off. All right. Should be a little cleaner. Well, still got some fuzzies all over it. Well, better but not perfect. This is a clean stone, so whatever you see, it is on the surface. So just cut to a nice, bright aquamarine. She claimed that her dad was going to Brazil and he would bring back gems from Brazil. But what I saw, this was the only one worth buying, and it was still on the light side. But, as you can see, it just cuts a really nice looking stone. So this one weighs 18.25 carat. Price on this of $4,560. Our regular price is $2,480, which with 15 off, it's $2,108, so $115 a carat. Which for a nice aquamarine is a really well-priced stone. Yeah.
For all the new people watching tonight, now we're talking about loose stones, but can you tell them the process for our custom design and everything as well?
Sure. So we do computer-aided design here. So if you buy a stone and you want us to do a design for you, you can either take delivery of the stone, look at it, make sure you like it, or just tell us, you'd like to see what kind of design we could do for it. We can do a design either from a picture. We can create something, we'll talk to you about what kind of things you like, or you can show us pictures of things that you like or rings that you've done for yourself. And Christopher Michael, who is my nephew, he'll do computer-aided design and present you with a design, and you decide whether you like it or not. And if you like it, we'll give you a price, and you say, go ahead, we'll produce a finished piece for you.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chats. I know some of our previous customers or current customers are in there, so they can speak to some of the designs as well.
And I think probably 2/3 of all the stones we've sold on here, we've made mountings for. Okay. And when you do a design, and we set it, we take all the risks. If something happens to the stone during setting, it's our issue, and you may not find that to be true when you go elsewhere. You have to ask them whether they'll cover any damage on a stone. So we're really good at setting colored stones. And we have very little damage, but a lot of jewelers out there are used to setting diamonds, and these are a lot different than setting a diamond just because of the hardness. Each stone has different durabilities. We've set stones like fluorites and sphalerite, which nobody should be setting, and you got to be out of your mind to set stones like that. But we have the capability of setting it. Not that we haven't damaged a few, but then it's our issue. Nice aqua, though. And at $115 a carat, it's a very reasonable aqua. Aqua can be $1,000 a carat. Of course, they're a deeper color, but it's a really pleasing stone. And up next, Sarah Mike. This is a very, very nice opal. I call it semi-black. I call it Ethiopian semi-black, just because I'll get protests from any Australians that are out there calling Ethiopian opal a black opal. But anything that they have that's not white, they generally call it black. And, whether this would go beyond a semi-black to a black is debatable, but it is a real deep base color. Just keep in mind, these lights are so close that they're kind of whiting out the stone. That's better. So this is what's called a honeycomb pattern. This you see in the Ethiopian material. And if you look close, those little honeycombs, the colors just come right through them. And they're typically just the brightest colors that you get when you have this kind of pattern. I'm not sure what causes the structure and why the colors just project up through that structure. But they're always just the most vivid of colors. If these lights were further away, you would get a more distinct pattern like you see in the picture I've taken in the studio. In the studio, I can move the lights back, and you'll see what you would see more like in the sun or with lights that are further up in the ceiling. Once you get them close, they kind of spread the color, make it a little less distinct. But the colors on this are just remarkable. So it weighs 7.30 carats. This comes from Wilo, Ethiopia. So it is hydrophane. I haven't tested these. They don't seem to be as hydrophane as others, these dark opals. They don't feel sticky like most Ethiopian opals. So I assume that they're a little less hydrophane. One of these days I'll do a little test on that. I've been promising that, but I just haven't done it yet. But just a really nice opal. Weighs 7.30 carats. Oh, got to use Hannah, huh, Mike?
Yep. Use that hand. Show the size of it.
Come over here. Well, So pretty good size stone, good ring or pendant. So $9.95 is the sale price. 15% off that stone is $846 or $116 a carat. This is material that I'm sure in Australia, this type of material would be $500, $600 a carat. Lovely gem. All right, next one, Mike.
Before we go, we had a question.
Yep.
Off topic from these stones, but Paul wanted to know, how do you overcome the orange peel effect in sapphire?
When you're polishing, I assume. I don't have that problem. Use 50,000 or 100,000 diamond on a bat lap, and you won't experience it.
And with that, what's the, I guess, since you're talking about cutting questions, the cutting machine that you use?
Little commercial for the Ultratech V5, which is the machine behind me that's blinking because of the power outage. The Ultratech V5, in my opinion, is the only machine right now to buy. There are others I like, but they're no longer manufactured, so you can't get parts. Even if you buy them used, you better be a machinist when you need to repair it, and you will need to repair them. They don't last forever. You cut hundreds of stones on them, and things wear out, and you need new parts. And whereas the Ultratech, they are a manufacturer that doesn't only produce faceting machines, because every company that has only been a faceting machine only company has gone out of business. I don't know any of them that have lasted forever. The Facetron just was purchased by another company, but they even went out of business. And, there's somebody I thought would be here forever. But the problem, there's just not enough faceting machines sold to make it your only business. So Ultratech is a scientific company that manufactures a lot of different types of machinery. So they build a quality product, they'll be there, they've been there for 55 years, and no reason to expect that they won't be there in another 50 years. So I think it's the right machine. It cuts a great stone. It does a lot of the cutting for you. When I learned cutting, we didn't have these digital dials to give us exact angles, and, the reproducibility that this machine has is superior to anything else I've used. I say that, but Facet's another machine that was just a great machine, but again, no longer manufactured, and so nothing's available. Parts aren't available. I have one at home, but when you have issues, which I'm currently having an issue, will I be able to fix it is the concern. So you want to buy a machine that the company is behind you, and you can still get parts. That's definitely this. The Ultratech V5. It currently is, I think they're up to about 5,500. A lot of money to invest, but if you're really into the trade, whether you want to be in the trade or as a hobby, it's the machine that's going to make your life easy, and cutting out, it's going to cut hours of time off every stone you do, and that will pay that money back very, very quickly. So invest your money up front. Otherwise, you'll try cutting and go, this is too hard, and just give up. Whereas with this machine, you try it, even if you don't like it. Right now, used faceting machines are worth so much money. It's so easy to sell that there's very little risk in it at all to you. I mean, if you invested in it, if you lost $1,000, I'd be surprised. So it is there's a lot of benefits to buying the right machine, and right now is a good time to buy it if you've ever thought about being in the business. So if you're interested, you place your order through Ultratech. I am a rep for them. I do get a commission from them. But if you do mention me, I do supply you with some rough that will be worth hundreds of dollars when you cut it. So I will send you a piece of rough once I get commissioned on the piece. So please mention my name.
Paul originally asked the question, but he's got one. He
Oh,
says
okay.
he loves it. So,
Good. Yeah. There's few I've talked to that don't like it, and many of the best cutters in the U.S. use this machine. Most do, So
Speaking of the machine, you want to turn that blinking light off right there?
is that bothering you?
Yeah, it's a little distracting.
Hopefully I can get it off.
Alarm going off back there.
Okay.
All right.
There
we go.
Okay.
So that's the Ultratech V5. Okay, next up. All right.
It's our first hidden gem.
All right. So everybody, I know there's a lot of new people here as well. We got some hidden gems. Most of the stones that are available at MoreGems.com in that special collection are 15% off with coupon code SPARK. This first hidden gem, if you're on that page on MoreGems.com, you can hit refresh and it's going to show up. And all you got to do is use coupon code RARE25 in checkout. And this stone will be 25% off the price shown. Hopefully that makes sense.
All right. So keep in mind that the color setting on this camera is not set for green. When I'm photographing, I do have to change the settings, and the green setting is P and this is on A. And so it doesn't show the green accurately, but this is a beautiful green, and what you see in the picture is an accurate representation, although I still think the green is better than what the photograph is. This is really a beautiful green color, great Savorite, and very inexpensive. I bought this one right, and for a stone over 2 carat, it is really priced well. This is a 207. Appraised price is $49.68. $26.85 is our price online. 2013 or $972 a carat. That's what we would expect to pay for a 1 carat stone, and 2 caraters have significantly greater value than a 1 carat. Good high clarity. It's a VS2, so some little stuff in it, but should be eye clean. This comes from Tanzania. Savorite's definitely one of the most valuable of the garnets. Demantoid would be the other. I don't know if we may be banned from demantoid out of Russia now. I'm not sure if that's gone through yet or not, but it's coming. So if you want a demantoid, you better buy it quick. Although there's a couple sources, Madagascar produces, but just not the same as the color that you get out of Russia. So it's a really fine stone, nice shape, good brilliance. Oh, okay.
That's what this signal is.
Oh, okay. Michael's giving me hand signals. Well, they're actually arrow signals, but whoop. Oh, sorry, honey. All right. So it'll make a nice ring size, and anything you put around it will make this stone look bigger. And so that's Savorite coming from Tanzania. I've got a couple of friends over there currently, and and hasn't been a real good response about what they've seen available, but that changes daily. So we'll see in the next couple of weeks how they do. So up next, another Tanzanian specimen.
Before we go into that.
All right.
I got to cut in every once in a while here. Christy wanted to know if she could take a look at that aquamarine we featured earlier on Hannah.
Sorry, only one view. On Hannah, sure.
That's you.
That'll be one of the sound effects you'll hear regular tonight. Hopefully not. Well, can't quite get her over far enough. Big ring, but I've made many rings this big. I can't get that. Well. Can't keep it straight. Make a cool ring.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough?
I think so. Okay. Hopefully, Christy, that helps you out.
Not play the replay.
Just with that, since we're cutting in here, questions are on the thing. You brought up the dematoid in Russia. Do you think all stones from Russia are going to be banned? Diamonds, everything?
Well, diamond is like impossible, because a lot of it goes to India, and India is not going to say, oh, these came from Russia. And that you're not going to hear where they came from, so that's some of the issue with diamond. There is no way of IDing the source. Whereas a lot of these colored stones, you can just look at it and say, I know where that's from. That peridot, I know where that's from, and with inclusions that are in them, you can identify maybe 80% of all the colored stones. Diamond, you can't identify them at all because the inclusions are the same pretty much anywhere you go. And I say that, and there will be, I don't know if there is sources that the inclusions are different. They form, hundreds of miles under the ground, and, they all form under similar conditions, and it's a real pure material. So it's going to be very, very limited on what you can ID a source on diamond. So diamond, although they want to stop the Russian material, I don't think the people in Antwerp are up for it because they buy a lot of Russian goods, and Russia produces a very large percentage of the diamonds in the world. So whether we'll have a Kimberley process for Russia, trying to keep the bad diamonds out of the world, time will tell. So I'm not that big into diamond that I know the whole situation, but I hear a little about it. So,
thank you.
But yeah, anybody that wants to not give away their source on a diamond, no problem, because you can't send it to GIA and they're going to say, well, this came from whatever country that is banned. They're just not going to know. So. Okay. Our next stone is a ruby and zoysite. Where is that? Oh. That ain't going to fit in the camera. There, that works. So this is ruby and zoysite. That's a ruby crystal that's in it. And it probably goes halfway through this piece. I can see it goes at least this deep. Some of them, we've got another crystal goes all the way through it. But this is a beautiful hex. That's how the crystal system of ruby is. It forms a hexagonal. And this comes from which is just kind of north of Arusha, which is where I go to. These form within the zoysite, and the black is hornblende, I believe. So this is kind of a cool source for this, producing these really large crystals, which can weigh many kilos. You know, I was in an office in Arusha, and the gentleman who's pretty much in control of the mining, to my understanding, had 2 foot by, must have been 100 square foot stacked material, and he was on the second floor. I mean, this stuff had to weigh 10 ton, I don't know, maybe more, you know, and I'm just thinking, wow, it's amazing we're not down on the first floor with all this rock, because ruby weighs really, really heavy, just has a high density. But it's kind of cool, ruby and zoysite. You know, this specimen weighs just under a kilo. It's $699, and with the 15% off, it is $594 maybe. So just a great specimen, just something to put on your desk, you know, put in your curio cabinet. You know, it's just a special crystal. And if you want to have fun with it, you know, if this was dark, this would just be glowing, just bright red. So they do fluoresce strongly. So just special material. You know, that ruby probably weighs, be 500 carat, or would it be more than that? It'd be more than that. It'd be, what's this whole piece weigh? That's 4,500, and it's a fourth of the piece. So it's 1,000 carat ruby. I've seen these pieces, people trying to sell them and say they're worth $100,000. You know, people trying to scam people. You know, it's a huge ruby, man. This is one of the biggest rubies on the planet. You know, but you can have it for $594. Great specimen. Yeah, set real nice. Ruby and zoysite. The material is Anniolite. Anniolite comes from the color green in Swahili. Annioli, I think, something like that in Swahili, means green. Cool piece. And that comes from Mineral Mike. So if you're interested in mineral specimens, you can go to mineralmike.com, which is Michael, who's sitting across from me.
Hey, everyone.
Anything else to say about that ruby and zoysite?
I think you covered it.
Okay. Up next, another piece that Michael has a hand in. This is one Michael just recently cut. This is Amethyst from Bahia, Brazil. Clean that off a little bit. This is a piece that from material we bought 3 kilos of it, so we'll be cutting some amethyst for a while. You know, and this is probably the right size to cut because it cuts the right color, not overly dark by any means, and just has a really nice brilliance to it. Yeah, and look at that faceting. I mean, really, really well done. The facet meats are great, and Mike hasn't been cutting that long, but he's got the talent.
Is this number 2, 3?
It's number 10 or 15. I don't know.
Oh, you've been cutting.
Yeah, there's been some in the past, but recently I think this is maybe the fourth stone I've cut. Yeah.
Oh, so you've been cutting quite a bit. Awesome.
Yeah, I've been trying. I've got a Peridot sitting on the dot waiting for me, but just finding time.
Yeah. Everything else you're doing looks great, though.
Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, the facets meet well. It would grade well in a contest for sure. So it really has nice brilliance. It's nice amethyst. Price is $1,490. $890 is our price online. And with the 15% off, it is $756 or $51 a carat. How many hours you suppose that took you there, Mike? Did you make $20 an hour?
Not sure about that. Yeah, I don't know. It did take me a little while. I think once I sat down and was doing it, it got done fairly quickly. But getting those things, this quartz polished was a challenge.
Yeah, quartz is definitely a challenge.
I had an issue with the Q-lid on this one.
And I sent some quartz rough out to people that had supplied my name, and I got commissioned on Ultratex V5, and I thought I should have sent them some spectral laps. And if I do send amethyst out again, because amethyst is so tough to polish, and it can cause a new cutter some issues. But if you use the spectral laps, it's much, much easier to polish than most of the other methods that I've tried. So So that's amethyst, but from Bahia, Brazil.
I think Eileen picked up your first stone.
She did, yes. Yeah. That was the first one was Portuguese cut.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this one, I had issues with that Q-lid. Remember there was that chipping we had to go.
Yeah, which is real common. You cutters out there, the chips of the Q-lid is just something, you just got to work to get rid of them because they do show up through the crown of the stone when they're on the Q-lid. And, you just try and polish them away, change the angle a little bit and polish from the Q-lid up and hopefully get rid of it. Eventually you will, but it adds a lot to your time, and many, many of them have that same issue. It's add an hour to your cutting time at least. So up next, Mike. So for those out there that have bought a lot of the blue zircons we provided in the past, here's a match pair for the pair of earrings. These come from Cambodia. Just really for their size, they're just intense color. With size in most gems comes deeper color. So getting small stones, and these are 1.5 carat sizes, cut a little deep, but not exceptionally deep. I chose through the best I could to pick shallower stones because all this Cambodian material is cut very, very deep cuts because the rough's deep and they just maintain the material. Adds to the color and the beauty of the stone. A little more challenging to set, but I think standard mountings will fit with this stone if you pick the right mounting. So just beautiful color, beautiful brilliance. And one thing you miss with these cameras is the green, because these have a distinct green secondary color. All these in the pictures I've had to adjust a little bit to try and add the green, but you still don't get the real beauty of that secondary green color, even in the adjusted photos. I mean, they're much, much closer than what I can do with the camera. Adjusting them in Photoshop helps a lot, but they're still more beautiful than what I can produce in a photograph. Not only do they have extreme brilliance, blue zircon has a refractive index that's off the charts. You can't use a refractometer to test these because it is 181, which is the limit of a refractometer reading. And so these, refractive index is the basis for how brilliant a stone can be. And these are extremely high refractive index. So you just get remarkable life out of them. Blue zircon has always been one of our best sellers. Move a lot of blue zircon, and I get some really deep colors. And for small stones, these are just great stones. So their appraised value of $1,545, $740 is our online price, and with these are 15% off. It's $629 or $203 a carat. So still a decent size for a ring. Even as a ring, just a simple ring with a bezel around it, just a beautiful piece. I think that's what you just made for Carrie, was a simple bezel piece. And we'll be working on more of those in the near future, because it is such a great look. We have a lot of stones, and it works best with stones this kind of size. Battery?
Yep.
So match pair earrings or pendant and a ring. From Cambodia. And up next is my latest creation. And it's probably, as far as I can recall, I can only think of one other morganite in my lifetime that's had as good a color as this. Just intense color, just the right mix of pink and orange, giving you that beautiful peach color. It's just, this is morganite as it should be. I mean, that's the right color for morganite. Morganite's usually quite light. This is just an intense color for a morganite. All step cut. Whoop. Maybe too big for a camera here. Just really a great color. The stone's completely clean. Weighs 28.90 carats. Comes from Mozambique. If I can get this in focus. Of material that we've shown in the recent past, this is just a step above color-wise. They don't get very deep color. This generally is as deep as you're going to see morganite. And just the right color. I find that currently morganites with this peach color are more desirable than the straight pinks. Although I have some great pinks. I'm surprised I still own them, but, the peach color seems to be the more desired color. You want to show the hand there, Mike? I need work at working this hand. Big ring, not impossible to wear, but just great color. All step cut crown, step cut pavilion, which has been my cut of choice, as you've noticed if you've watched for the last year or so.
Oh, step cut Steve.
Step cut Steve, yeah. they just work so well. They're so brilliant. I can increase my yields by using a step cut because you pretty much can form the outline of the material, and whatever shape you have, you can make a step cut out of it. And it's tough to get more brilliance than what you see out of this particular stone. Oh. Yeah, I could watch that for a while. That's pleasing. I could put on my TV and just sit there and watch it like you're looking at a fireplace. But if you put it on your finger, you can watch it. All right. Moving right along. Next up is a chrome tourmaline. You know, chrome is a stone that is relatively difficult to get. I have very few suppliers that provide good chromes. Chrome is typically overly dark, is the issue with chrome tourmaline. This stone is a deep colored stone, but definitely not over dark, just the right color green. Again, green is my camera's weak point, but well.
Look at all that fuzz.
I think tourmaline's the stone that if you set it, if you look at them in a museum, it's been sitting there for a while, they'll get a little ring of dust around them. They're attractive that way. Again, trust the picture more than this picture with this camera. The picture online is more accurate for it. It's just a really fine chrome tourmaline. Comes from Tanzania. It's really the only source. I think you'll occasionally get something out of somewhere else that's chrome, but Tanzania is the source for chrome tourmaline. And getting much bigger than this is difficult. Occasionally we get 3 caraters. Like I say, the issue is over dark. You know, me along with other cutters quit cutting it just because you think the rough is right, and you know, and it just seems like no matter what you do, they cut too dark. So much easier to buy them cut. So nice emerald cut, real clean stone. Just make a very nice ring. Praise price on this stone is tourmaline $21.25. $11.95 is our price online. 15 off. It's $1,015 or $574 a carat. You know, so about a third of what Savorite is.
And just to that pop in, if you guys are enjoying the show tonight, we'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. Maybe send a share out to your friends to tell them to check out the show too.
All right, next stone. So back to probably the main part of our business. I don't know if we're at least 40% of our entire business is Tanzanite. So very important stone for us. Hopefully it remains available. It's been good so far. Continue to get a good supply of really fine stones, and this is one of them. Just a beautiful cut. Weighs 14.28 carats, and it has a really good spread, meaning it's not cut overly deep. which all these stones, whatever the rough is, I mean, you don't just throw it away, you cut it and you manipulate the cut to fit the piece of rough. But this one is cut about as shallow as you can cut it and still have full brilliance. You see there's no window in the stone. So you're getting as big a spread as you can get. You know, this stone could weigh 20 carats for the same size. You know, it's just cut much deeper. Which if it was a step cut, I can cut any depth I want with a step cut. You know, but this is to your benefit because you get that big look and you don't have to pay for it. You know, this stuff's all priced per carat, no matter how deep it is. And, you know, so this will get you the most for your money. You know, just intense color. You know, and I'm not sure what the color rating was on this stone. It's more blue, I assume.
60% blue, 40% violet.
Okay, which is a really good combination. You know, some people say they want all blue, and there are all blue stones that are beautiful, you know, but the issue with blue stones, when you get them in incandescent lighting or lighting that's not daylight, they're not as pretty. In daylight, yes, they produce this beautiful blue color, but the stones that have a good percentage of both colors, you know, you'll find that every light you go to, they're unique, they change, and they're beautiful in every light. Whereas the all blue stones and incandescent, you know, they sometimes are pretty, but like in small stones, you buy a lighter color blue stone, and it's not pretty at all in incandescent lighting. You know, it's those with the mix, you know, particularly those close to, you know, the 60-40 either way, they're all beautiful stones. So it is a really good mix.
T wants to know if you can put it on the hand and maybe put it on the neck. We don't have a neck yet.
Okay, there's my neck. And let's use the hand. That's a lot prettier. Oh, there's the camera. So a really good size for a ring. I mean, a bigger ring, but you know, the nice thing about this cut is when you put it in a ring, it doesn't have that extreme depth, because when you have the depth, you have to account for it in the ring. You have to have a basket that's deep enough to hold that depth of stone within it. You know, because you can't have it sticking out the back and poking in your finger. So the deeper the cut, the higher that it has to sit off your finger. So that's a big benefit of this type of cut. That's cut as shallow as you can possibly cut it. You know, no extra depth and still getting the beautiful brilliance throughout.
Spokes Dexter wanted to know how limited is the Tanzanite supply right now?
The really top goods are still difficult to get. You know, there's a lot of material out there. Keep waiting for that to change, for the government to step in and do something that affects the supply, but it hasn't happened yet. You know, friend that's there says material's limited, but like I say, you don't know until your trip's over what you run into and how much is available. I've been in Tanzania when I couldn't buy goods, when I could buy goods in New York City cheaper than I could buy them there. You know, so the market fluctuates quite a bit. When material is limited coming out of the mines, the prices there are as expensive as anywhere in the world. But when they're hitting good pockets of it, you can buy in Tanzania well. You know, assuming you know what the price should be. You know, but you know, I don't foresee. Well, I foresee a time when the material is not available, but I don't see it being this year. You know, but I know it's going to change suddenly sometime, and you know, it's just going to be, prices are going to be higher, and you know, it's going to be tough to get these really top goods. because there's most of the time that I've been in the business, getting stones like this was very difficult. You were lucky to have one stone of this kind of quality. Right now, you can buy top quality stones. They're better than they've ever been. You look at some of the stones I've had and the amount of color that's in them, the intensity of color, including red flash, which is a rare character in stones, which this stone has it too. Once you get to this depth of color is when you get the stones with real character. So it is a really good time to buy Tanzanite. And one of these days it's just going to shut off and you're not going to find the top goods. So this particular stone appraises at $18,260. Our online price is $9,640. And with the 15% off, it is $81.94 or $574 a carat. Okay. Let's see if I can. Pretty much perfectly square. So you could set it on a diagonal or set it square. So this is one of those stones that gave me issues. Should have been a much bigger stone. Should have been a 8 carat, but it's not. But finally I pulled it out and thought, you got to cut this, even if it is a long, thin stone. But I find that stones like this, if you can give them brilliance, they are very, very saleable. They make a unique piece when you put them together. These long length width stones just make an extraordinary piece, whether it be in a ring or in a pendant. They're unique looking. As you can see, there's some needles in this, but you'll barely notice them at all when you're wearing it. This particular color, which is very minty green, lighter than most, a different color than most, always has these needles. Ludwigite, yes. Ludwigite. Yeah, is what the needles are. But this color, you'll see it in them all the time. I don't think this color exists without them. I don't know what's different about this material and why this color comes, but it, to me, is the most beautiful color in Peridot, particularly with this intensity. And again, this is another step cut, but really worked in this long marquee. It's just you get the facets in the right place and you get brilliance throughout. You get that intense, deeper color brilliance on the ends. And just it's just a fully brilliant stone. There's almost no dead spots in it. Really is no dead spots in it at all. Because this stone, 16.8 millimeters long, 6 millimeters wide. Our designer, Chris, looked at it this morning. I just finished this stone. And he said, I love those different cuts, which he does like designing. Because like I say, you almost can't go wrong. Whatever you do with them, you get a unique look, and it just makes a beautiful piece. Need that hand over here a little bit.
Rip it off
I have to have some practice working with this hand. tweezers cover quite a bit of it, but it's a nice long length that make a great ring. You just highlight the sides of it, or you go all the way around it with stones, or there's so many things you can do with this stone. If I can get it facing the camera right, that's better. Even in this low lighting, you can just see the brilliance that stone has. Cool ring. Cool pendant. Either direction. Peridot from Pakistan. 4.19 carat. Appraised value is $1,550. $775 is our online price. And that with 15 off, it's $659 or $157 a carat. And the next stone is from our last trip. These are from Alberta, Canada. And this Ammolite, really a special stone. Just the amount of color that's in it is just kind of amazing. And how clean the surface is. These are shells that were ammonites. And these shells, they were covered up. They fell to the bottom of the sea, got covered up with, I don't know how many yards or how many hundreds of feet of, well, we do know how many. What was it? They were down about 60 feet. And I don't know whether it was deeper originally, but where they were mining was about 60 feet down. And, so these shells were generally broken up quite a bit. They fossilized, and the material that's in these now is a aragonite, which is like a pearl-like material that produces these colors. And the colors are the most extraordinary thing I've seen. And, opals have a hard time competing with the brilliance of the color in this material. And this is just a very clean surface. They call this collector quality. And just the amount of color that's in it, to get those blues and violets and indigos, those are some of the rarest colors in this material. So you pretty much get the full Roy G. Biv rainbow in this. Another stone that's just mesmerizing to look at. Yeah. Just get lost in that. Yeah, it's best as a pendant. It's not durable enough for a ring. But really, it makes a great pendant, and they're always nice size. To show my neck there, Mike. You can go through that once. So just is a really good size for a pendant. And as I've mentioned before, much of this material to me is unusable because when you rotate them, I've passed up material that when you look straight on it, it has beautiful color, but you can't move them at all without losing all the color. So I'm very selective that you get a wide range so that from different angles you still see the color of this material. It will extinguish eventually as you rotate it, but these, because of what I've selected, they do have a wide range that you can view the colors from. Whereas half this material, if you move 10 degrees off center, the color just goes away.
Cool trip.
What's that?
I know we've talked about the trip before.
Oh yeah,
For the new people.
Yeah,
That's
we
right
had great
across-
fun. It was hot as hell, but
Yes.
yeah, mining on a river that the banks are, I don't know what the angle was, but if it hadn't have been soft, you would be in the river all the time. But the material was pretty soft.
Yeah.
And you could get a footing in it. Otherwise, you couldn't climb the side of this river.
Yeah, I saw that they just recently uncovered another mosasaur.
Oh, really?
So in the mine, yeah. So they just had made a post about discovering another mosasaur, which they have to have another team come in and excavate that because I believe the Canadian government wants to keep those.
And what is a mosasaur, Michael?
Mosasaur, it's like I don't know, a sea carnivore. It was actually the predator to these ammonites. Some of these, when you find the full fossils or even larger fragments, you'll find the bite marks of a mosasaur, which they look like little divots on the surface of the shell, which is kind of cool. And I saw on one of the prehistoric shows that they were showing how the mosasaur would hunt these creatures, and they would actually they would go and they would bite the shell and penetrate the shell, which then the shell would fill with water and immobilize it where it'd sink to the bottom, and then they'd go later and collect and eat the creature. I don't know how they figured that out, but
And I think mosasaur was on Jurassic Park a few times, wasn't it?
I believe so. I don't know if they.
It's a long neck.
No,
no,
not really.
that's-
It's kind of. I think it's got like a stubby neck and some fins.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, cool creature. The teeth are cool. I've actually got a few on mineralmike.com if anybody's interested in the teeth.
I think I just sold one.
Oh, you did? Yes. Yeah, that one was. I think that one was actually still on part of the jaw. But those were actually from Morocco, not Canada.
Reptile. Yeah, it looks kind of got the head of a.
I was thinking
Alligator a
about
little bit.
plesiosaur is the one I was thinking of.
I just want to cut in here. Again, if a lot of new people always joining us, so if you like anything on the show, you just got to go to MoreGems.com and you can click on the banner. You'll see all the stones from the show, and almost all of them are 15% off with coupon code SPARK. And then there's a few hidden gems, which they'll say hidden gem on them, and those are 25% off with coupon code RARE25. And as Mike mentioned earlier, if you're liking the show, there's, over 100 people watching, just click that little thumb there that you like the show. And if you want to see more of these in the future or some of Steve's educational videos, just make sure to hit that subscribe button and then click that bell and you'll be notified of all new videos. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a lot of cutting videos out there. Those out there interested in learning cutting or just interested in seeing how it's done. We have many, I don't know how many. We have quite a few videos on teaching how to cut and little techniques and improving your cutting. All right, up next is a sapphire.
It's also
It's a
another hidden gem.
Hidden gem.
All right, so everybody, if you're on the page that has all the stones on it, all you got to do is refresh, and that hidden gem for 25% off with coupon code RARE25 will be shown at the top.
So this is a sapphire that comes from Madagascar. It weighs 1.43 carats with an appraised value of $1,860. Our online price of $1,390. And with 25% off, it's $1,042 or $729 a carat. So just really well cut stone. good clarity for sapphire. Sapphire traditionally or typically is not completely clean. So this is SI1 clarity. And as I've said before, these cameras, they don't let you hide much in them. And, it's difficult to see anything in this, but somewhere there's something. But nice brilliance, nicely cut. Again, that nice smaller table size. Just full brilliance throughout the stone. No real extra depth. It is a step cut pavilion and that is a brilliant style crown. Kind of a modified brilliant. And Madagascar is one of my favorite places to travel to, and hopefully we'll get back there sometime yet in my lifetime. I traveled there for about 10 years. They produce a huge amount of, well, not a huge amount, they produce a wide variety of gems. Almost everything that exists comes from Madagascar. Tanzanite is one of those that doesn't come from Madagascar, but it's one of the few. Oh, I'm sorry. This is one stone that makes a good engagement stone because it is so hard. You can wear this stone daily and expect minimal damage. And up next, a real rarity in Tanzanite.
This is a beauty.
It has everything. It's one of maybe 4 or 5 stones in my lifetime. Not that I've been grading my grading system in the last 5 years. That gets a 1,000 rating. To get that, it has to be a perfect cut, perfect color, perfect clarity, and this has one extra bonus. It's natural. No heat treatment at all. And to get this kind of color in a natural gem is a real rarity. It should be that 1,100 stone, but 1,000 is the highest, and that's what this received.
Most people think natural. Even when someone says that to me, I think the diesel color. Yes. So this is natural in this amazing color.
Yes, it's unheated. So it is. It came out of the ground this color.
Can you explain how you can possibly at least identify that? Because, there's some skeptics out there that,
sure.
Which is rightfully so, yeah. It looks like it has been heated,
Yes. Well, there's no reason for me to tell you it's natural from a price standpoint because it's not priced any more than a 1,000 rated stone would be, heated or unheated, because it is difficult to prove. There is no real price incentive as far as it being natural. Natural, I've become familiar enough with the rough that I can see it. And when you look at it with a microscope, The secondary color, which typically is yellow, it's blue, purple, and yellow are the colors in a diesel colored Tanzanite. You could use a dichroscope, which this is a dichroscope. You all can own them on Amazon for, I don't know, this may be $35, $40. But you can see the three colors that are in Tanzanite. And when you heat them, typically it goes to two colors because you're heating off the yellow. But as you look at this stone, you're going to see blue, purple, and green instead of the yellow. And that is very typical of these natural stones. Now, not that I do see heated stones that can have the green too, so it's not 100% what you expect or what would prove that it's a natural stone, but it is part of the proof. The other part of the proof is knowing where it came from, who it came from, and what the rough looks like. The rough is distinctive to the point that I have seen other rough lately that has a very similar look. I still think I can discern the difference. And when my supplier, who really knows what he's doing, tells me it's natural, it's an assist in all that. There is one lab which is that claims they can ID some naturals. Of course, the diesel color we can all identify, but these blue naturals are much more difficult. And whether they can, I probably should send it to them and see if they can ID it or not and what they would say. But, they say they can do some, and so I'm not sure I trust them any more than I trust myself. But it'd be interesting to see what they come up with on a stone like this. But anyway, this stone, the amount of red flash in it is remarkable. The color change from incandescent to daylight is unbelievable. I mean, it's purple and it's blue, and it really has everything going for it, and it's 100% brilliant. Another step cut. But it is just totally brilliant stone. There is no Tanzanite on the planet that has better life than this stone has. So it really has everything. There's only been a couple other 1,000 rated stones. My wife wears one of them. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Dana. Little shout out to my daughter and wife. But anyway, this is, if you want to own the best stone on the planet, here it is. Personal opinion, but it's a unique faceted stone. You'll see some extra little facets in the crown there. That was a mistake, but I just followed through the mistake and added 6 extra facets to cover the mistake because I couldn't polish it out without recutting the whole thing. So you see those little extra facets. I cut this. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't? Yeah. I did cut it. So, a perfect stone.
And I don't know if you mentioned that it does go from blue to violet.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a remarkable change. Both colors are as beautiful as you could ever hope for. Yeah. Oh yeah, LED is unfair. If everything turns to LED like these, we have panels of strip LEDs. The color it's like unreal. If I took a picture in the cabinets we have here for the crystals, if I took pictures in there, it just wouldn't look like anything real. And that's kind of way lighting's headed. So, Maybe we'll see some much more unique brilliance in stones because of the type of lighting that's coming up. But all those sparkles that look violetish, those are red flash. When you look at it in person, it's bright red. But you look at it right there. It's just 100% brilliance. Remarkable stone. I think about putting stones like this back, but, if it lasts a while, I'll do just that and wait for the material to disappear. And when you have stones like this, who knows what the value will be. Because Tanzanite in my lifetime was wholesaled at $3,000 a carat at one time. Back in 1981, that was the trading price of fine Tanzanite, and they were never this fine. $3,000 a carat wholesale. So that's the potential, and greater if it disappears. You look at sapphires of this size, and they're $10,000 a carat, $20,000 a carat, stone this size.
And I seen a question come through that Bridget asks, is it possible to make Tanzanite in the lab?
Not currently.
So there are no synthetics.
No synthetics. Yeah, somebody on the website tried to say there was synthetic and the value of his stone dropped like crazy, but there is no synthetics at this time. And even when there is synthetics, if you can separate them, we've had that in ruby, sapphire, emerald, and we all feared that it was going to affect the price of ruby, sapphire, and emerald, and it has had no effect on the price. Currently diamond prices have gone up in response to the synthetics that have come out, whether that's the trade trying to back up diamond or not. The price has gone up, but there's always been little effect on the price or desirability of stones when a synthetic came about. People always want to own the real thing, and as long as we can ID them, the value of the real thing remains. And the rarity of most of it just gets greater. That's why I personally, there's a big trade in synthetic diamonds at this time and younger people buying them. But, whatever you put into a synthetic diamond, you're just throwing it away because you'll never get any money back out of them. They'll never be worth any more. So there is always value in buying a natural gem. I don't want to leave it, but what's up next? Another really, really nice opal. Wait, just too much light on it. I don't know which one to get rid of. But here's a stone that just has all the colors and just intense. And this is a stone I just saw. There's a opal cutter that just cut a stone from Australia that was pretty much this size, I think a little bit bigger. But he was asking $30,000 for it. Is it any better than this? He thinks so, but I'm not sure it is. It was a beautiful stone, but $30,000. Here's one 10% of the price or even less that just has remarkable colors. And this has better reds than that stone had for sure. And red in Australia is what's considered the most valued. some of the rarest colors are blues like you see in this, and violets. Again, this is a stone that has the full rainbow of colors. And just huge, broad flash. So this stone weighs 22.48 carats. Has color everywhere. I'm sure the back is almost as good. Again, if you had these lights a little further away, they're about 6 inches away at the moment, these color patterns would become a little more distinct, not so spread out. But really great stone. Praise price of $3,370. Our online price $2,630. I'm not sure about that $3,370 appraised, but anyway, $2,630. And with 15% off, this stone is $2,235 or $99 a carat. And this just will make one fabulous pendant. Great size. Set it either way, and the colors are great any way you look at them. And when you do set opals, you do look closely at how it's going to look, particularly if you're looking down on it slightly, and decide what angle to set it by what pleases you when you look at it at an angle that wherever you're wearing it. If you're going to do it in a pendant, it's more concerning, but in a ring, you move your hand around any way you want, so it's not so important. So we had a sale. All right.
Yes. Yeah. It's the perfect Tanzanite.
Oh, really?
To Phil.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you,
I don't
Phil.
want to let it go.
Sweet stone.
I may
Phil.
have to renege.
It's a great piece.
Yeah. Could I have it for a few days? I don't know when I cut this, a couple weeks ago. Hopefully I'll have another one like it one day, but I mean, there's so few and far between. You'll be amazed when you see it. Yeah.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah. I literally will miss it. It's one of those stones that you'll remember, and I'll always have a video of it, but it's just not the same. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, good, wise choice. Yeah. Where was I?
Show that opal on the hand.
Show that opal on the hand. That'd make a big ring. But some can pull it off. Yeah, it's just amazing how broad the flashes are that run across this stone. And that's sometimes another indication of how valuable a stone is, how big the patches of colors are. Not that the stones Michael likes, which are pinfire, is kind of the other end of that spectrum, where you get these little teeny fire that goes all across the stone, just a different look. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty incredible, just all the different colors, and those blues and violets are the ones that are tough. And look at the greens, blue greens, turquoise colors. What's not in this stone? This goes beyond Roy G. Biv. I mean, that blue greens there. Pretty amazing opal for $99 a carat. That even blows me away to think you could buy something so incredible for such a low value per carat. And what's up next there, Mike? And it's another hidden gem.
Hidden gem.
Hidden gem, Jeffrey. You ready?
Hidden gem.
The hidden gem. All right, I'm going to put this live. So if you're just joining us, the hidden gems are 25% off with coupon code RARE25 to find them. Just go to MoreGems.com, click on that green banner. It'll take you there. We're going to see it at the top. If you're already on that page, just refresh it. It's going to show up now.
And this one, distinctly stronger violet to this stone. Not sure what the mix is, but, just really nicely cut, fully brilliant. I mean, the big problem with ovals is you get a lot of extinction in them, particularly as you get deeper colors. But this is just a very, very lively stone. No matter which way you turn it, it still has full brilliance. What is the percentage of the colors there? I remember it being
25% blue, 75%.
Okay, it's just a lot of violet in the stone. So in daylight, you'll see the most blue out of it, but I think this one, even in daylight, will have quite a bit of violet. And that's lately been what my determination of what the predominant color is by taking it in daylight, and the stones that still maintain a strong violet are stones that are distinctly the higher percentage violet. So if it's violet outside, it's going to be blue violet exceptional. If it is blue outside, it's going to be violet blue. And then the percentage is determined by looking at in incandescent and looking at it in a daylight. In my shop, I have a daylight LEDs that I use for the blue end of it and determine the color percentages by using those two lights. So this stone weighs 419, appraised price of $4,400. The online price $27.90. With the 25% off, it's $2,092 or $499 a carat. So great ring size. Completely clean VS1 clarity. Just nicely cut stone, and if you prefer a more violet, this is a stone for you. So many people think that Tanzanite they want it blue, but personally, I think that's a mistake. There are quite a few popular websites that say blue is what you want, but blue is such a low percentage of what's available in Tanzanite. So the Tanzanite market was not developed by it being blue. I mean, blue, purple, and noticeably purple is more of what Tanzanite truly is. So the market wasn't developed by it being a blue stone. It was by the mix of blue and purple. Originally when the stone came out, where this conception, or not conception, this impression that Tanzanite should be blue, when it first came out, they were trying to relate it to sapphire, that, this is a stone to replace sapphire or be like a sapphire. but it's not. I mean, it's a mix of amethyst and sapphire, and that's what Tanzanite is, and that's what makes Tanzanite as special as it is. It's not its blue form, although I've had many blue stones that are beautiful. But as I've said before, they're beautiful in daylight, but when you get them to incandescent, typically that's where they fail somewhat. So personally, I think the mix of blue and purple is what a Tanzanite should be. Whether this purple is right is up to you. It's a beautiful stone, and still has a good mix of blue and purple, but it's definitely more to the purple than most. I've seen stones like the one we just sold that do a complete color change, or almost like an alexandrite. The amount that they change, that's where the blue and purple stones are unique, that you can get that color change in different lights. Where the blues, they go from blue to a more muted blue and incandescent, so they don't have much of a color change. Blue's still pretty, don't get me wrong. There are beautiful blues, and I've had many, but just a stone that blue and purple is what a Tanzanite should be.
I want to cut in here. Everybody also, lots of people keep joining in. If you have any questions, there is a nice lively chat session going on YouTube. I believe you just have to log into your Google account to take part. So there you can ask questions for Steve. If you want to see stones we've already talked about on the show, you wanted to see the stone on Hannah, the hand, again, we're happy to do that. And again, if you're liking the show and loving it, just click that little thumbs up and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. I know Michael wants to get to 100,000 subscribers, so we really need your help. We're at 90,500, so got a little ways to go, but if you guys can subscribe, that would be great.
Which amazes me that we have that many subscribers, and I thank Michael and Jeff for really getting that to us. I have little to do with it other than providing gems. I guess I'm part of it, but they've done a great job in promoting the websites and promoting interest in colored gems.
You got the expert over here to help promote that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Unique stuff. I do a lot of marketing for lots of companies, and it's much easier to do it. And I think Michael agrees when you have something unique and rare that no one really else has. So it does make it much easier. But on top of that, giving you some compliments, super fruity of naughtiness. Notice that you're skipping the cost breakdowns on some of the presented stones. So
am I?
Yeah, come on. Steve. They don't want to break out the calculator, so make sure we're doing that. We'll make sure to do that.
Which ones did I miss? Let's see.
You said you missed the morganite, the perfect Tanzanite.
The big morganite? Oh, okay. Ah, yeah, the Tanzanite. Well, I was so enthralled by it. Both of them. I probably just got looking at the stones and sorry.
We'll remind you going forward.
Yes. The big morganite, I did that too. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Oh, it was a late entry and got off my list. It's actually here at the bottom. So it's a $29.90. The appraised value is $19,580. Our online price is $65.70. I didn't go through this at all, did I?
No.
Yeah.
You brought this one in late because I was here.
Yeah, and it's at the bottom of my list down here because it got shoved in up here. With the 15% off, it's $5,584 or $193 a carat. So,
all right. Casey wants to know if you can put this. I believe it's this Tanzanite back on Hannah.
The
Tanzanite we
419.
Just showed. Yeah, the 419.
Really perfect ring size. Okay.
Such a great model. Thank you, Hannah the Hand.
Yes. And I'm starting to learn how to use her correctly. I just can't deal with this backwards camera. It's like we had a toy when I was a kid. I probably mentioned this, and you had to work in the mirror to do it, and I was horrible at it, of course. It's like punishment.
It's a new story to me. Never heard of it. That's
I
mirror
can't remember
toy.
what the toy was. You had to do something that was like the operation game or something. You had to put things in it, but you had to do it in a mirror, which frustrating. Okay, next stone up. And what else did I forget, I guess? But all right, another morganite, peach color, also from Mozambique. This stone weighs 3.32 carat, appraised price $1,294. $5.99 is a price online, and with the 15 off, it's $509 or $153 a carat. Peach color, with the size, it's lighter peach than like you see it in a big stone, but still a nice peach color. Did I do everything on that stone? I think I did. Okay. There we go. Nice peach color, pink orange, I think or orangey pink. Next stone is one I've recut twice. I've cut this stone 3 times. So I've got more hours in this stone than any stone I've cut in years, probably. And unfortunately, it's amethyst that doesn't have a great deal of value, when you put 20 hours into it. Let's see. I don't know what that figures to. I suppose if you didn't have cost of material, it'd still be an okay hourly wage, but finally it came out beautiful. It started at, I don't know where I was, 60 carat. The problem was it was too dark, there's a veil in it somewhere that is always at risk when you heat it, because these you can heat lighter, but anything that's in them, which amethyst always has a veil here or there, particularly stones of this size. And so heating is a risk. So the only other thing you can do is cut them smaller. So I cut it smaller. I cut it down to 50 carat, and it was still too dark. And so I just cut it down to this size, and it finally got to the right color, because this material has some of the best color amethyst. This is out of Bahia, Brazil, and the colors are just remarkable. But when you try and cut a big stone, the risk is it's going to be overly dark, which was the case. And, typically I've found the lightened stones. I've had Tanzanite that was overly dark. I had one that was 120 karat. And again, I cut a 70 karat before it was a fine color. So you have to waste a lot of material to get them to lighten up. But now this one's just fully brilliant and just really a beautiful color. It has strong pleochroism, the blues and the purples when you get the different lights, more reddish violet and more blue violet is what this stone exhibits.
Step cut, Steve.
It's a step cut. Yep. Step cut crown and pavilion, but it's just hard to say anything wrong about them because they just become so brilliant. So this one weighs 32.36 carats. Praise value is $3,240. $1,620 is our online price. With the 15% off. Is this that's probably not right. 1630. 1630. So I'm getting all sorts of different numbers. 1620. So $1,377 with the 15% off. So basically about $44 a carat.
Steve cut this one 3 times for you.
Yes.
He loves cutting so much that he wanted to do it 3 times.
Wanted to give it up. I tried sunlight because some amethysts are not totally stable to sunlight, but this is not one of them. I don't know how long you have to leave it in the sun for it to fade at all, but it didn't fade for, I don't know how long I had it out, maybe a week. So it is pretty color stable, whereas you will find certain amethysts, this, as I've mentioned before, this specimen definitely got lighter, and I don't know if it's continuing to get lighter, but it was a real deep, rich color, and it was never in direct sunlight. It was up front. Was it in the window?
It was in the window, yeah.
Okay, it was in the window. So it was enough to fade it. So not all amethyst is color stable, and this is Uruguay, I think. Yeah, it's Uruguay. So you can fade Uruguay amethyst, but it could have been in the window for a while. Yeah, it could. It may take a long time, but it definitely, you can fade some amethyst.
That was probably at least a year up there.
You think so?
I feel like it was in that window for a long time.
Yeah. Was great color. I'd marked all the stones I was going to cut in it, and now they're not worth cutting, but oh well. It's a nice specimen. So it'll be in mineral mic sometime in the near future, as I'm not going to cut it. We have 3 kilos of amethyst, which we'll never get through in our lifetime. Probably Michael's lifetime. We'll still have amethyst to cut. But this is a beautiful amethyst, unique shape, make a great pendant. So if I could show you.
Show the size of the hand too.
This one, for most, is too big for a ring, but not all. I don't know if I can even get it into tweezers. Well, it'll be a finger stone. So. Well, this is not going to be easy. Try those tweezers. Yeah. Told you we should have had sushi for lunch. Big ring. Great pendant. That was my effort at cutting some different shapes, which I've been, I don't get enough different shapes cut. So I'm going to work on that, doing a little more unique shapes. And although you can get too much into that, I see people cutting too many different shapes, and there's a limited market for it, but definitely a market. All right, up next, another Savorite, which I have quite a few Savorites. If you're into Savorite, I definitely have
it's also a
2
hidden
carat
gem.
sizes. It's what?
It's a hidden gem.
Oh, and it's a hidden gem. Hidden gem.
Jeffrey, get on this hidden gem.
All right. For everybody that's watching, you've already heard me say this a few times tonight. I'm sorry. Got to say it again. For all the new people, this is a hidden gem. Unlike all the other stones on our site, this one is 25% off with the coupon code RARE25. To find it, all you got to do is go to MoreGems.com, click on that green banner, and it'll show up there. If you're already on that page, just refresh, and it'll show up as well.
All right, this is just a really brilliant pear shape. You know, pears can be beautiful, but typically if they're on the dark side, you'll just have a tip that has no life. But this stone is brilliant throughout. The color is closer to what is pictured on the website, but the color of this is better than what is pictured on the website. This is a color that's very difficult to capture, but this is just a remarkably beautiful gem. And it's 25% off. So it's for a 2 carat Savorite. It's a very well priced stone. The Savorite, where is it? Weighs 2 carat 16. 55.30 is the appraised value. 41.50 is our normal price online. So with 25% off, it's $3,112 or $1,440 a carat. Give me a hand there, Mike. Give me a hand. Really good ring size. Of course, this comes from Tanzania. Some minor inclusions in it at the tip, but for Savorite, it's a really clean stone. You know, Savorite almost always has some inclusions in it. I say the brilliance of this stone is really remarkable, as well as the color. Savorite is definitely one of the more valued of the garnets. It's probably the one that's gone up the least, right, because its price has been high for all time. All the garnets prices have had significant increases, some of them 100, 200% for certain types of garnet. But Savorite's been pretty stable for probably 10 years. You know, some increases, but not like the rest of the garnets. All right, up next, we had a sale, all right.
Yes, from one of the stones from much earlier. So Glenna picked up the peach oval tourmaline.
Oh, cool. The second stone up. Yeah.
Yeah. Way
Yeah,
back.
we've done well with that color. I think.
A cool color. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had several because it's my favorite color. So whenever I see the rough, I buy it, or in this case, cut stones. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Glenna.
Thanks, Glenna.
Thank you, Glenna.
Before we go on, Tilak, I'm guessing he's from Sri Lanka. Hopefully he's still watching. I was getting late there, I think. He's seen a few amethysts that you were cutting. Have you ever come across an amethyst from Sri Lanka?
No, in my entire time in business, I don't think I've ever cut a amethyst from Sri Lanka. Have you ever seen amethyst from Sri Lanka? Does it exist? You know, so many gems come from Sri Lanka, but I can't recall amethyst ever being one of them. You know, I got to think. And quartz is not that common to my knowledge in Sri Lanka. You know, I can't ever think of being offered a quartz gem, or, you know, and I can't imagine that's true because quartz comes from everywhere. But amethyst from Sri Lanka, it doesn't exist to my knowledge, you know, and like I say, I can't imagine that being true. You know, never been a high quality amethyst out of Sri Lanka, or I'm sure I would have heard of it at least. So,
All right.
All right, next stone is another Ammolite. Kind of an odd shape, but again, just incredible colors.
Ammonite
Ammolite.
or an Ammolite?
Did I say ammonite?
It says Ammonite.
It says ammonite.
Well, no.
No, it says
You
Ammolite.
says Ammolite. Our website says Ammonite.
Ah,
Yes,
this is
It
an
is from Ammolite, or Ammolite.
yes. That's confusing. This is an Ammolite. Gems are lights. The fossil is an ammonite.
All right.
You know, they're 70 million year old fossil. And this is, again, one with really great color. Get some of this light off it. Yeah, that's better. And you can see those blues and purples again. That's the color that's tough to find in this. Greens and reds are more common. A lot of red is not common. So green's probably the most common color. But getting the blues and violets, that's what's difficult. And a good clean surface, not quite as good as the last one, but still really a great, great piece. Make a great pendant. They're good size, and again, a good range of color. You know, you can tilt it quite a bit before you lose the color. You know, because if you're not careful with some of these and you set them and you just look at it and you go, well, you move it all and you just don't see the color. You know, you see this material sometimes out of Madagascar. You see ammonites that have color in them, but never like this. You know, they're patchy color. But to get color all the way across this gem like this, just amazing. You know, when we were there, we actually saw them digging up one of these pieces, and you could just look at it in the ground and just see all the colors that were in it. So this gem, there's no appraised price on these because the guide doesn't have prices for ammolites. It's such a specific gem source. Only really one place that produces it. So they haven't got around to producing an appraised price on this material. So we just price it $580, take 15% off. And this Ammolite will be, where is it? It's not part of my list, Mike. So $580 less 15%. Is $493. There's not a whole lot of gems you can buy the finest that exists for under $500. And a nice big stone like this weighs 33 carats. And there's just no other gem that has this kind of, it's not brilliance, it's, what do you call that? Iridescence? Cool stuff. We bought a lot of it, so we have a lot of Ammolite. Maybe overdid it a little on Ammolite, maybe. Yeah, it was great. They're just right timing, so it's hard not to just go whole hog, when the material's right. We're just there in time that they brought out a whole new supply of material and weren't even quite sure what the prices would be until we sat down and negotiated for them. Michael, with the pieces he bought, he started looking through what they had on the shelves, and they brought out all this new stuff, and stuff on the shelves just stayed on the shelves.
Yeah, so if you're interested in larger palm specimens, I do have them available on mineralmike.com.
Yeah, and those are pretty incredible. You should just take a look at them and see what these things look like, because they're big pieces of material like this, with that kind of life, and just you put them on a shelf and, whatever else is on the shelf will be secondary to this material, because they're big and they have colors like these, all the way across large chunks. Didn't I do that already?
Somebody was asking for it again.
Ah.
I might have saw it.
Okay.
That'd be kind of cool for a gem pendant too. I've been looking for something.
Yeah, we should. Did we talk about doing that?
Yeah, 'cause I would like one for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, it could definitely go either way. You won't see one on me because my wife and necklaces are on men is not her thing. I'd like it. All my kids wear them.
Just do what you like.
but I'm restricted. Sorry, dear, if you're out there watching. I'm going to assume you're asleep by now, but not that I'm boring, but it's past bedtime. Just look at the colors. I mean, it's just so fascinating to see the amount of color in a natural gem like this. Yeah, I don't really know how it could form like this. I knew it's related to pearl, and pearl will show different colors. You can see black pearls that have a full rainbow of colors, but never with the iridescent intensity of these gems. Blows me away, and I've dealt with these since the early 80s, because I did rep Corite, which was the biggest company with Ammolites back in the 80s and early 90s, when almost nobody knew what an Ammolite was. Even jewelers. It was like the first time they ever saw it. So we have another sold gem.
Yeah.
And what would that be?
You sold Martha on this fossil.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Martha. Well,
Cool
it'll be
piece.
interesting to see what you do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you, Martha.
All right. And our next gem is another Savorite. This again has that color of the pear shape. And just, again, a remarkable brilliance. Oop. I'll show it in this, but it just really kills the color. Really clean, just extremely brilliant Savorite garnet.
Steve, going back to the Ammolites, you haven't heard that those fade in sunlight. I wouldn't think so, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I've never heard that, no. Never had anybody say that. There's a lot of interest in things that fade these days because we're finding there are more things that sunlight can fade. Particularly the ones that most notable would be kunzites, which will fade in 2 days of sunlight can fade them to nothing. Some morganites will fade. You'll lose some of the peach color. I don't think the Mozambique material will, but I'm not 100% sure. But what happens, they fade to pink is the typical color change. So material probably from Nigeria that is peach. You leave it in sunlight long enough and you may end up with a pink gem. So you got to be a little careful with sunlight and in gems. But I don't know that ammonite's a concern. One of these days I'll take the time and do a variety of gems. That's a test we'll do. We'll have to do a couple-month test maybe and just see. Just take one of each gem that I have that I can sacrifice, and just see what does fade. Just do a fade test on them. Would be a interesting video, and we'll try and do that sometime. So this is really a spectacular Savorite garnet. Weighs 2.46 carat, appraised price of $7,380. Our online price $5,450, and with the 15% off, it is $4,632, $1,880 a carat. It'll be tough to find a more brilliant Savorite than this one.
You mentioned about the pricing for Savorite being pretty consistent. What garnets have you seen that have gone up the most dramatic?
All the Mahenge, the stuff that came out of Mahenge, which is kind of a new garnet that much lighter colors, mostly pinks and peaches. Those have gone up dramatically. The Malaya garnets, which are peach color, kind of like the stone that Martha just bought. No, Martha got the
Ammolite. The tourmaline.
The tourmaline that Glenna bought. That color in garnet has gone up dramatically. As I've mentioned on this show, I had a 10 carat I cut around, and people were complaining that, how could garnet be worth $800 a carat? I was asking for it. And so I just gave it to my wife, and nobody wants to pay the price. I'll just keep it. And currently material like that is well over $2,000 a carat. So those prices have gone up. I think the only ones that haven't are the rhodolites. Umbellites are up, but there's a lot of rhodolite on the market right now. And if you want a really nice rhodolite garnet, it is the time to buy it because the market is the best I've seen ever in my entire time in the business. Even when it came out of Kangala back in the 80s, 1980s, 1990s, the prices were probably as high as they are now. And with inflation, that makes, the material right now pretty cheap. When you can get into them for $80 to $200 a carat for really top, bigger stones, those are really the bargain in garnets at the moment. But almost all the other colors have gone up significantly. And I mean, 2-3 times would be the kind of difference in price. Yeah.
All right. Hopefully that answers your question.
Oh, sure. What did I do with it? It's been a long week for me. I've been very tired. Not for any other reason than I started exercising every day, which has been almost too much. Hopefully my body will get used to it here eventually. Just trying to get the cholesterol down, which is not that high, but trying to stay off the pills. It's a nice size, make a really good ring. Put a row of diamonds around this and it'd just be remarkable, just so much brilliance. All right, next stone. Another hidden gem. This one shouldn't be because it is a remarkable Tanzanite. I mean, you look at it like I'm looking at it in this light. There's so much red flash coming out of this, and the depth of color is just remarkable. I don't remember what see what the color rating is on this. So this is a stone. It's violet blue exceptional, so it's more blue. Does have a good violet component to it, but I've rated this 993, so the color rating is remarkably high. I mean, I don't get many stones that go over 980. They just have to be, everything has to be right. So the cut's right on the stone, clarity is VS1, and the color is almost perfect. So really high rated stone. And I bought it right so I can put it on this 25% off, and but it's definitely worth more money. So it's a appraised price of $10,840, our online price of $59.90. And with the 25 off, it is $44.92 or $535 a carat for a near perfect Tanzanite.
Flash, but it's crazy how many people ask for it.
Yeah, and outside of these shows, we don't talk about it because it's such a low percentage of stones. Maybe right now there's more stones with red flash than ever. But still, maybe it's 5% of all the stones I look at will have that. So on our website, you're not going to see it mentioned because you talk about it and that's, I want a stone with red flash. Well, maybe it could happen. It's just so few that are available. But when I'm talking here online, I'm not talking to the whole world, so it's our little secret, but this one definitely has red flash. Shh.
I have to admit, sometimes I put it there during the show because someone asks, it doesn't, someone, I think it was last month, asked, oh, it doesn't say red flash on it. So I put it on there just so they could find it. But
Yeah.
I'm always the one that's pushing the envelope. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'll always tell you which ones have it. I mean, if you specifically want a stone with red flash, I can tell you which ones have it. It'll be a short list, but there's always a few stones that have red flash in them. Yeah.
Show that one on the hand. Did you ever enable that one?
It is enabled. No, Steve skipped over my presentation. But if you're on the collection page, or if you go to MoreGems.com, you just have to refresh the page, and that new Tanzanite with the red flash will show up.
Sorry, was I being rude?
Yeah. It's all right. Most of the people already heard me 4 times before, so.
A near perfect Tanzanite. You'd probably go with that 1000 stone if you wanted a pendant and a ring. Yeah. The colors would be a little different, but that's one thing about Tanzanite. Fine stones, they blend. There's the colors, whether they're more violet or more blue, they do blend well. We made I had a friend that was really a great designer, and we made a necklace that has 7 stones in it. And the center stone, and then there was 7 stones total. 3 matching pairs, but all different colors. And the center stone probably matched one of those pairs, but they were all different colors, and they just blended well. And this piece ended up selling for $250,000. So you can mix them, and they work well together. Great stone, and for, what was it, $535 a carat, underpriced for the market for sure. So good pendant size. Did I do everything there, Mike?
I think so.
All right. Let's go on to the next stone. Another opal, and this is a white crystal opal. And crystal in Australia is special. It is the high end of the opals. To get color to show up on crystalline material is very rare in Australian opal and highly prized. This is a crystal opal. If you could literally read through it. Let me make sure that's true. Oh yeah, you can read through it for sure. And it still shows just remarkable colors. Again, when you get these lights further away, the color patterns become more distinct. The edges of the color become a distinct outline rather than kind of blurred like this. You just need the lights 2-3 feet away. And again, daylight is opal's best friend. These stones in daylight, just remarkably, really distinct outlines to the colors you see, and they just get much, much better. If we could show these in daylight, it'd be the ideal lighting. They pretty much show in every light. That's one thing about these Ethiopian opals. Any light you go to, they're a beautiful stone, but some lights distinctly better than others. I think these worked in those LEDs too, didn't they?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I put it under a ring light, and it makes the different patterns on. Like if I turn this on, and you turn the other ones off.
Oh yeah,
So if you
that's
ever see
weird. Yeah,
somebody trying to sell them like this, like, oh, unique pattern. It's just
it's a ring light.
it's a ring light.
Look at that. That's cool.
But then you turn it off, and it goes away.
Ah, that's something. Oh, that's the ring light. That's So all different lights will do different things to these opals. Like I say, sunlight's by far the best. You know, this color throughout. I mean, so it's crystal opal that weighs 8.54 carats. 1155 is the appraised value. 850 is our price online. And with the 15% off, it is $722 or $85 a carat. Nice big ring. Definitely recommended in pendants. Because these opals, you have to be a little careful with what you get on them. You know, you don't want to get oils, hairspray, suntan lotion. You know, anything oily can absorb into this and will affect the quality of the opal. So you do have to be a little more careful with them. And that's partly the reason for a lower price than Australian opal, because this is a 500 a carat Australian opal. Australians are not so absorbent as Ethiopians. Ethiopian is a hydrophane opal, means they're a little like a sponge. So you just have to be a little more careful when you're wearing them and what you get on them, and wipe them off after you wear them. And, you know, so a little more care, but just remarkable material. Yeah. And here's one more gem that is the absolute finest I've ever seen. I've never seen a pink stone so pink. In all my time in business, this is probably the pinkest gem that exists to my knowledge. Not real big. This comes from Mahenge. Mahenge is where they started finding garnets, but this is the material that was originally mined there. 10 years ago, you could have bought this for a third the price. But now the material is rarer. The material is found to be the finest that exists in this color range. It goes from pinks to reds. They do find some blues there. But this color is the most intense pink that I've literally ever seen in any gem. Never seen a sapphire so intense. Tourmalines, you know, pink topaz, anything. Garnet's never this intense a color. So it is as good a pink as you can get. Maybe too intense a pink for some, but whoop. You know it does. So spinels in fluoresce, kind of like rubies do. Just get an intense red color.
It's like a Pepto pink.
It's beyond Pepto pink.
No.
Yeah.
It's like a
yeah.
radiated Pepto Bismol.
Yes, yeah, it's a radiated Pepto pink. Yeah, no, it's quite amazing. And it's, and I hesitated to buy it because it was so expensive, but these spinels have just gone nuts, the stuff from Mahenge. And with a color so pink as this is, when it's as deep a pink as I know exists, what is it worth? It's worth whatever you have to pay to get it, is where this stone is. And for the Mahenge spinels, the price, it's another one, just like the garnets, that tripled in value over the last 10 years. So you try and buy a 3-carat Mahenge like this now, it's $10,000, $15,000. So, but this is a 106, appraised value of $4,220. Our online price $26.90, and with the 15% off using the coupon code SPARK. Does that have something to do with the
Sparkle.
Or
Sparkler.
Sparkle? I was thinking 4th of July.
Yeah,
Yes.
sparklers.
Okay,
But shortened.
I got it.
Less typing. Easier for the customer.
So with the 15 off, it's $2,286 or $2,157 a carat. I looked up sapphire to see if it was actually more expensive than sapphire. But when you look at untreated, which this is untreated, when you look at untreated pink sapphire in a 1 carat, it's pretty remarkable what the appraised value is. Even the wholesale value of a pink untreated pink sapphire, a 1 carat pink wholesale, $52.25 a carat, as compared to heated at $3,500 a carat. That's for the top grade in a 1 to 2 carat stone. So, there's a case where unheated in sapphire makes about a 40% difference in the value of the stone. So I really thought that this might be more expensive than pink sapphire, but doesn't turn to be the case. It's still about 40% of the price of pink sapphire.
So with that, a question that came in earlier, but it kind of goes with that. This person, they had purchased an unheated ruby, and they have been out there looking for higher end unheated emerald and sapphire, and wondering why they're so hard to come by, I guess, or why we don't supply unheated ones.
Well, emerald, I have an untreated 2 carat. It's in a mounting. I mean, it could come out of there. It's one I bought. I mean, in emerald, it's so rare that you find untreated. It's not heating, it's oiling. So all emerald.
Untreated. He said untreated. Sorry.
Yes.
My
all emerald, as we look at them, we assume they're oiled. It's just the assumption. Everything you look at, you assume is oiled. But I have one stone that I cut the material myself and didn't treat it. So I bought it in the rough from an Ethiopian opal dealer that for a short period, emeralds were coming out of the south of Ethiopia. And there was no treatment in the beginning. That probably has changed now. But so this one I know to be untreated, and I should send it to GIA. The last 2 I cut, I sent to GIA, and they came back untreated. So that's a rarity in emerald. Sapphire, you can find more of them, but it is a 40 to 50% difference in price. So
he's looking for like you're cutting, like U.S. cutting, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's what's hard to find. It's hard to buy blue sapphire rough. It's all cut in Tanzania and India, Sri Lanka. But you can find naturals, and we may have some in a mounting. I'm not sure. I did have a couple of blue sapphires over the last 6 months that were untreated, and I may still own one.
Some Montanas.
Yeah, and some Montanas untreated. You just don't get the fine blues typically out of Montana. More blue greens. Not that they don't exist there too. And ruby is really tough and really expensive these days. As if you bought one, you know that to be the case.
Okay.
And I will have more sapphire, I'm sure. I think almost all the sapphire I have right now is heated. I'm thinking maybe I have one mounted that's not heated.
Thanks for that question. You want to show that one on the hand?
I do.
Jeff, you could probably link them to that one emerald that we have. It's on MoreGems.com. Should be the only emerald pendant. Well, it should be in the pendant.
So this is a great stone for an engagement ring because it does have really good hardness. It's just a really durable gem, probably as durable as sapphire. Particularly heated sapphires. Heated sapphires tend to abrade because of the high heat involved in the treatment. So it somewhat depends on the type of treatment. And, some of them, they can heat up to 3,000 degrees to get the color to change. And it does affect the surface. I can tell when I cut them. They cut differently. And I've seen jewelers that wear them regularly that all the facet edges chip more easily than an unheated stone. So there is some benefit to unheated in sapphire.
Got
any?
any questions there?
All right, so everybody, this is the end of the show, but we're happy to answer any questions that you have. All you got to do is just post them in the YouTube channel right now, and we can ask Steve. I'm going to try to go back through a few of these. I know there's a few questions, but post them there. Again, if you like the show, if you can give us a thumbs up, click that little thumb, and then subscribe. And then if you click that little bell after you subscribe, or if you've only subscribed, click that little bell and you'll be notified when the next show comes around. If you have purchased from us before, I'm going to post a link in the chat. It's to review us on Google. If you purchased or even like the show, if you could just click that link to review us, we'd really appreciate it. That helps, get the word out about Steve and all these amazing gems that he showcases. So links in there. Let's see. We had a question. You talked about the Facetron. Yeah, Facetron earlier. One gentleman wanted to know if you had any spare parts left, because I think he's looking for some.
I actually don't own a Facetron. There is a possibility that in the near future I will have one for sale, not for parts, but actually a quality machine that my brother owned. My brother passed away, and he owned a machine. I just haven't decided whether to sell it or not. So if you want to email us, and we'll take your name, and if it does become available, because it is a good machine. He had it. He sent it back to Facetron for recalibration not long ago, and I'm sure he didn't cut more than 10 stones on it after he had it calibrated. So if it does become available, it'll be a good machine to own. But parts-wise, I've never owned one myself, so don't have it.
Okay.
But the people at Facet are remaking the machine, I believe. They may be available now. I think I've seen that they are available new again. So there may be parts available again. So you can check on. There's a Facebook site for selling faceting equipment. You can probably find information there.
Bless you. Yes. So I want to thank Kim. She purchased the Hidden Gem number 4, the Savorite garnet
All right,
pear
cool.
shape. That's a cool stone.
Yeah, those good stones. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, it's a great color.
You'll like it. That's a very, very pleasing color, and you're going to see that the color is even better than what you're looking at. Yeah. One of these days, I'll figure out how to do greens and blue greens with the cameras, but it hasn't happened yet. And that's the reason I own some beautiful emeralds, but I can't video them. I mean, they just look like crap. They look terrible. Crap, I guess I can say it. Because the inclusions, I mean, as I've said many times, you cannot hide the inclusions with these cameras. Anything that's in them just shows up so much, so dramatically more than what they are, that it's so difficult to do emeralds. And that combined with my inability to produce green accurately makes the emeralds look terrible. So if you're looking for a great emerald, I've got 2 of them that are in the 2 carat size range that are just beautiful stones, but you'll never see them on the website.
Sorry.
Was that the answer to that question?
Yes, it was. For some reason, my laptop just lost internet connection. I was checking to make sure it was still working. I don't know what happened here, but I'm trying to get any questions that came through.
Have you got it back?
Not on my laptop for some reason.
Oh,
It's
okay.
weird. Let me see. Oh, okay. And Kim is a him. Sorry about that, Kim. I keep making assumptions on people's names. I never know.
Okay. Yes.
But thank
had
you,
a good
Kim.
friend in high school. His name was Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so I'm kind of having trouble here, but it looks like, I mean, you probably answered everybody's questions, I guess. Yeah. All right. Shorter
folks.
show than usual. I didn't go 3
Not
hours
much.
tonight.
Yeah, I still almost made 10 o'clock. All right, folks, remember, shop online at MoreGems.com. That's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Steve Moriarty. Keep on gemming.